Check the jacket you're wearing right now, or your jeans, or that backpack sitting on the floor next to you. Take a close look at the tiny metal pull tab. Chances are, no matter what clothing brand you bought, you'll see the exact same 3 letters stamped right into the metal, YKK. You probably interact with a zipper 10 times a day without a second thought. But how did one quiet company manage to install their hardware on almost every piece of fabric we own? To answer that, you have to look closely at what's happening inside this tiny metal slider. Push 2 rows of zipper teeth together by hand and they bounce off each other, but pull this little tab and suddenly they lock together like butter. The reason YKK conquered the market comes down to mastering a 112-year-old piece of mechanical engineering hidden right in front of us. Before the 1900s, getting dressed was an exercise in patience. Clothes were held together by dense series of buttons, laces, brooches, and fragile hooks. Then, an American engineer named Whitcomb Judson tried to automate the process. At the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, he debuted a system of sliding hooks and eyes that he claimed would replace buttons entirely. But Judson's design was a complete mess. It jammed constantly. Because it was made of rust-prone steel, you literally had to unsew it from your skirt before throwing the garment in the wash. Worst of all, if a single hook fell out of alignment, simply bending over would cause the entire mechanism to violently pop open. His failure demonstrated that speed was secondary to stability. A successful fastener had to remain closed under pressure and endure a washing machine without rusting. The solution arrived in 1914 when an engineer named Gideon Sunback submitted a patent that looks practically identical to the modern zipper. Sunback's mechanism is incredibly clever. Inside the slider is a simple Y-shaped cavity. Because the individual teeth are wider at their base than at their tip, they can't easily press together. But as you pull up, that Y-shaped wedge tilts each tooth at the precise angle needed to slide into the groove of its neighbor. When you pull the slider down, the wedge reverses its job, physically prying the interlocked shapes apart. But this design had one severe vulnerability. The teeth are clamped onto a piece of strong, non-stretchy fabric called the tape. If even one tooth breaks off, the neighboring teeth suddenly gain enough room to wiggle loose. That creates a cascading chain reaction, and the entire zipper just bursts open. Sunback designed a brilliant mechanical patch for clothing, but his mechanism relied on exact spacing. It required a level of manufacturing precision that didn't even exist yet. To solve the missing tooth problem, engineers in the 1940s developed the coil zipper. Instead of clamping individual metal teeth onto fabric, they molded a continuous strand of plastic into interconnected loops. Because it's all one piece of plastic, a single tooth physically cannot fall off, eliminating the cascading failure entirely. And to stop a worn-out slider from slowly gliding open on its own, they added a built-in brake. When the pull tab rests flat, a tiny metal pin drops down and wedges perfectly between the coils, locking the slider in place. By 1934, Sunback's original patent had expired, leaving the playing field wide open. That same year, a Japanese businessman named Tadao Yoshida founded the Yoshida Manufacturing Corporation, or YKK. Yoshida realized that a zipper only works if every microscopic angle is tightly controlled, so YKK stopped buying parts from outside vendors. They brought every step of production in-house, even building their own specialized manufacturing machines to guarantee quality. Today, YKK produces over 10 billion zippers every single year, maintaining a reliability record that has earned the trust of almost every major fashion house on the planet. They've even scaled this exact engineering to handle high-stakes environments. When you need an airtight, pressure-resistant seal to hold a deep-sea submarine escape suit together, you rely on a heavy-duty YKK zipper. YKK didn't invent the zipper, but by taking a brilliant piece of mechanical hardware and executing it with unparalleled manufacturing quality, they built themselves an invisible, indispensable monopoly. Since we rely on these things to keep our bags closed and our pants up, it helps to know how to troubleshoot them when they inevitably snag. If your slider is stuck, do not try to jam it by force. Carefully remove any trapped fabric. If the track is clear but stubborn, just rub the tip of a pencil over the teeth. The graphite acts as a perfect dry lubricant to get the metal gliding again. If your zipper is zipping but separating immediately behind the slider, the inner cavity has likely bent outwards from wear and tear. Grab a pair of pliers and gently crimp the sides of the slider together. This tightens the internal wedge back to its original angle, forcing the teeth to properly interlock again. Think about the devices you used 10 years ago. Almost all of them have been updated or replaced entirely. But the mechanism Gideon Sunback patented in 1914 works exactly the same way it did over a century ago. In a world of constant software patches and hardware updates, the zipper remains a rare piece of technology that hasn't required a design overhaul in over a century. Speaking of things working correctly, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and let me know in the comments what your zipper says right now.